I screw this up, you gonna edit it?
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. If I screw this up, I'm gonna try to edit it. I'm not.
You'll call me in a week. We got to redo.
Now I'm an editor, or have been an editor, just not with this stuff.
Gotcha.
It's been with this stuff.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do my best. Welcome into this latest episode of the Tailgate. Today I am sitting here with Hewitt-Trussville head baseball coach Jeff Mauldin. Jeff, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's good to be out here. We've got some scrimmaging going on behind us. Season's almost upon us. How are things going in practice, and looking forward to 2023?
It's been exciting. I mean, we've had unusually great weather this time of year. I think we've only missed being on the field one day. I mean, okay. So it's been good for us. We got a younger group of guys, and just getting them out there, and just being able to get on the field this time of year has been good for us, and just seeing, getting things in and doing some stuff.
Do you return many guys from last year?
Oof. We only returned 4.
Oh, wow. So
four players, Kurt Kaiser, Carson Weidman in the infield, and then 2 outfielders, Brett Mosley and Jack Ollis.
Wow. Okay. So you got a lot of babies out there.
We got a lot of young players and a lot of inexperienced players. So that's why we're grateful for this great weather. Get as many reps in as we can.
Yeah, but there's got to be, as a coach, there's got to be some sort of fun to that, getting some young, inexperienced guys and really kind of helping build them up.
It's exciting as a coach, because usually our program, we kind of like reload, and you got some older guys, and it's easy. This is tougher. It's a challenge for us, but it's fun too, because you're teaching young guys how to play at the varsity level, especially 7A varsity, and it's frustrating at times because the expectations are high.
Right.
But then again, it's fun because you get to see young kids really grow at different rates, and we're trying to speed up the process, and that's the frustrating part. But then again, it's exciting for us as coaches, because we got a bunch of 10th graders running around, or a bunch of juniors that have never played varsity, and getting the speed of the game and seeing how they go for that. So
yeah, speaking of the process, I mean, I know that's something, you're going into year 11 here, and you've talked about that a lot over the years. What is the HT process? I mean, I know y'all hashtag it, y'all talk about it. What is that?
It's hard to explain.
Okay.
I think it's everything. I think it's we started a Husky baseball club travel organization years ago that starts 3rd grade. So we have our hands on kids starting in the 3rd grade. That goes 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Then we got a middle school program here. Then through the JV and high school. But I think it's what we do in the weight room, our conditioning program. It's like we have a year-round program. It's not just baseball season.
Right.
How we get these guys to how they talk, how they walk, how they interact with other students and teachers and the community, how they handle their academics. It's kind of a whole, just how you do everyday life.
Yeah.
And we want them to be elite in everything, and not just on the field. We believe that everything you do, if you're elite at everything, whether it's English class, math class, what you choose to eat for lunch, what movies you watch, what kind of music you listen to, the wins and losses take care of themselves.
Right.
So our process is how we approach everyday life and how we interact with people. And it's funny you asked me this. Yesterday I'm walking through the office, and one of our secretaries just said, "Hey, I want to compliment 3 of your players." And I was like, "Okay." And 3 of our players went out of their way to ask about another kid, and she overheard the conversations, and it was like, that made my day.
That's awesome.
So I get here today, I go find those 3 players. "Hey man, I know you don't know that I know this, but like you did a great job.
Right.
You sought this kid out in the hallway and asked him how he was doing, and you didn't have to do that."
Yeah.
And so it's we want to prepare kids for life.
Sure.
We want to be unbelievable husbands for their wives, and unbelievable dads for their kids. And baseball's going to end. you know, so we want our process not to be just here. Our process takes them to college or work and through, you know, working
Yeah.
and having a family. And, you know, I think one of my favorite days I've ever had on the field was here years ago. One of our former players from Clay Chalkville had just had a baby, and like the baby was like a week old.
Yeah.
He brought his son here
How
to show me and Coach Schrupp his kid.
about
It was
that?
like, that's what it's about.
That is.
So
Yeah. Why do you think that process has been so successful? I remember covering your first year when I was still doing all this stuff full time, and you take a program that had, not been great, and y'all go to the state finals, year one. I mean, obviously the buy-in was
right,
pretty quick.
I think, you know, we took over the program, and there was two things you have to have when you take over a program, and one is radical change.
Sure.
So we had to do some research and what has been done here in the past.
Yeah.
Okay, whether it was good, bad, okay, whatever, radical change had to be something completely different,
Yeah.
almost shock their systems and give them something new they've never seen and never heard of,
Yeah.
and you have to have immediate success.
Mm.
That sells it.
Sure.
You know, they wondered
Yeah.
all this change is going on. Is it worth it?
Yeah.
But it's not just success on the field. Like, to me, the first thing we did was introduce weight room. Uh, we thought when we first got here we were like the weakest team I've ever seen in my life. So typically we lift 3 days a week.
Okay.
That year we lifted 5 days a week.
Every day.
And it was every day. And like, we even had teachers in the school 11 years ago questioning our tactics and like, what's these new baseball guys, what are they doing? They're our kids. They can't
Right.
even walk up and down steps. And but when we remaxed at the end of the first semester,
Mm-hmm.
you saw kids bench presses go through the roof. You got
Yeah.
their squat maxes go through the roof. Well, then all of a sudden, those kids like, hey,
Yeah.
they saw success
Yeah.
in what we were doing. They went from walking around the school as an average Joe to walking around school with their chest out, shoulders back, proud of what they have accomplished
Right.
in 18 weeks. Well, then that just carried over to the field. And I'll never forget our first game. We played in a Briarwood tournament,
Hmm.
February. We played Vestavia the first time.
Okay.
And according to the people, we had never beaten Vestavia in the history of the school.
Ever?
I think.
Whoa.
That's what I was told.
Okay.
So we beat
that's a
them.
good program.
Yes.
A really good
I mean,
program.
Sammy Dunn and,
Yeah.
and we beat them the first game. And I remember Karen Johns, our athletic director, comes running on the field. At that time, our board president was Bill Roberts.
Yeah.
He comes running on the field. I look up like, what are these people doing? They're all running on the field, like celebrating. It's game one.
Game one.
You know, but the immediate success.
Yeah.
They saw immediate success in the weight room. They got stronger. They started
Yeah.
feeling more confident about themselves. And then we win. And then I think that just catapulted us into the season.
Yeah.
And it kind of carried through the year, and we were able to make a run all the way to the finals. And unfortunately faced my old team where I knew all the players, and,
Sure.
and they beat us in the state championship. But that group, you know, kind of laid the foundation for what's been going on here the last 10 years.
Yeah. I remember you didn't really want to play that series.
Nah,
that was tough.
It was weird. I knew more about the Pelham kids than the Hewitt kids.
Yeah.
Because I'd had them
You had them
their whole life.
Yeah.
You know, pretty much. And all the coaches there were my coaches. It really felt like a glorified scrimmage because I knew everybody on the field. I knew everybody in the stands. It was surreal. It was really strange.
Yeah, I can't imagine, but yeah, I can definitely see that. How do you, that season 13, you'll win it in 16, and then you've had what, two more runner-ups? I know last year and
18 and 22.
18, and then last year against Central Phoenix City. You mentioned you only got 4 guys back, but
Right.
like, is there any thought to how a last season ended as you start a new season, or do you just completely wipe the slate clean?
Most people say they wipe the slate clean and start over. We don't.
Okay.
We talked about the Central Phoenix City 3 days ago.
Okay.
That series, and because we had a bad day, and I was like,
y'all took game one.
We took game one. We rallied quick through a great game. We had some really clutch hitting and won that game. And then, we lost game 2 and 3 the next day. And, to me, the best team in the state. I thought Central all year was the best team. But we talked about it, how'd that feel? Did you like that feeling of walking off the field losing? And, Tyler Tolbert, one of our former players was on the 16 state championship team, and he's been here a lot getting ready for spring training. And he actually asked him, he goes, does anybody remember who finished second? People only talk about who finishes first.
Ooh.
And he challenged him, and I loved it because it's right.
Yeah.
I mean, like, but I did learn something several years ago. We used to get mad when I was at Clay Chalkville. We won one, we lost 2 or 3 in the finals, and I would not celebrate those years because I felt like it was a disappointment. And it took me years to realize how successful a season like that is. I got here, and Tanya Hunter, our girls basketball coach, the first time they went to the Final Four, our community and school rallied behind them, and we celebrated. And they lost the state championship to Hoover, but I'll never forget the celebration of making it to the Final Four. It was the first time for girls basketball to do that, but it hit me like, man, I've really blown it the last couple times we did this. Like, we should celebrate because it's an accomplishment.
Sure.
So we did celebrate it. I mean, how many teams can say they finished in the state championship, and finished second in the state? And, we're disappointed, yes, but we should celebrate that because there's 30 other teams not playing. And, and I just don't want our kids to not think that they had a successful season. And I think Tanya doing that with her group and me getting to see from the outside looking in, like, this should be celebrated.
For sure.
So we celebrated last year, but we're not satisfied. You want to win.
Yeah.
So
you mentioned Tyler specifically, but I know you've got a lot of players that have come through here, through Pelham, through Clay Chalkville, and guys that have gone on and played collegiately, guys that haven't. But just how do you keep in touch with all these guys over the years? Because it seems like you have an effect on these guys. The coaching staff has an effect on these guys. They're bringing their week-old babies to see you.
Yeah.
How do you keep in touch with these guys? Is your phone constantly going off?
No, I mean, it's kind of some guys they graduate and you move on. You never hear from them again. And but I think some really truly, not the ones that don't communicate with us. Not that they don't appreciate it,
sure.
But I think guys that do, they appreciate it more, or they look back and like, man, they really helped us in life, and they communicate more. I mean, some move away. It's hard. I mean, we're busy with the new group. It's hard to keep up with those guys. I got on Facebook a long time ago. I got off for a couple of years, and I'm recently back on it. So I've tried to reconnect with some guys through Facebook. I'll text guys every now and then, just check on them and see how they're doing. I mean, the kids, young men that are still actively playing, they're easier to stay in touch with. What we do here is in our locker room, we actually have a wall of lockers of all the former players who are still currently playing.
Okay.
They have their own locker. They have their college or professional name tag.
Oh, wow.
With that logo. So like when they come home for summer or Christmas holidays, they have a place to come. And
that's cool.
So that's honestly, that's my favorite time of the year.
Yeah.
Is Thanksgiving, Christmas, where all these guys come back.
That's
and
neat.
They're getting their work in. Our guys get to see it. They see what kind of work they're putting in on their break. And so they get to see, and they get to see these guys. Tyler Tolbert, who's just got invited to big league spring training for the Kansas City Royals. He's up here probably 4 or 5 days a week.
I believe it.
A Carson Skipper coming out and just playing long toss. Played at Auburn and now at the Colorado Rockies. Riley Quick coming up here from. Most of these guys know him because he played last year, but now he's wearing Alabama stuff, and they're getting to see how his body's changed being in college. And I just think, we give those guys a locker so they can leave their stuff there. They have a safe place to come. They can come use our weight room. They can use our cages, our field. And, we want our current guys to see that. And I'm just telling you, I love what we do, but those guys coming back. And I think we invite them. Like, I'll text them all, call them, hey, man, when you're home for the break, you got a locker here. It's ready to go.
All right.
Whatever you need, we'll give it to you. And so I think that's one way we stay in contact with them.
Yeah.
So.
Are you going to need a locker room expansion?
Well,
do we need to ask Lance for a? Just kidding, Lance.
We've got 5 signed seniors in this group. I started counting lockers the other day. I was like,
Uh-oh.
we may have a problem. So
That's a good
that's a
problem
good
to
problem.
have.
That's a really good problem. And we're fortunate here, man.
Yeah.
We're fortunate. Our kids want to be the best they can be, and that makes the process easy. When we first got here 10 years ago, those kids were like begging to be pushed. They wanted to see how good they could be.
Yeah.
And there's been a couple of times where we've taken over a program. We lost some players that first year because they thought we were crazy, like radical change.
With the radical change, yeah.
And we thought, because there were so many seniors that first year, we thought we're going to lose 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Not one guy
quit.
Not one guy changed course. They all stayed the course. It was a really good group, a really tight group.
Yeah.
We're actually talking about having a 10-year reunion with them.
Okay.
We're trying to find the right day, and they don't even know yet.
Okay.
We've talked about it like seriously, like 4 hours ago.
4 hours ago.
Carter Ferris was on that team.
Yeah.
He was a sophomore on that team. He's one of our assistant coaches now.
Right.
So we were talking about him doing it because his brother was a senior on that team.
Brother Will, yeah.
Yeah. So their mom Holly was kind of our de facto team mom that year. So she's probably getting a phone call the next day or two to kind of organize this. So she'll have fun with that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we kind of joked about changes, like a locker room change kind of thing, if more space, all that. We're joking about that. But there's going to be turf at some point.
Yes.
So I know that's coming for various fields throughout the city. How big of a deal is that for y'all?
I think it's just baseball specific. It's huge. It's something we've really wanted for the last couple of years. Our city and our schools gotten together, and we can't thank them enough for making this happen. It's the developmental piece. We don't lose games. If we get a game rained out, we make it up.
Yeah.
But you lose practice, you just lost a day of development.
Yeah.
And that's the big part is, 2 years ago, our total program lost 21 days of practice.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now we lost a total of 7 days.
Okay.
3 teams. That's 21 practices our kids lost in a 3-week period.
Yeah.
Because the rain was so bad. Well, if you have turf, it could rain all day. Stop at 2 o'clock. You can practice.
Yeah.
It rains all day now. You may miss 2 days.
Right.
So it's to me, it's the developmental piece for our kids. That's where the difference is. And then you want to dive into deeper how can turf affect your program. You don't have to spend an hour to prep a field to get it ready or an hour after to leave it right. Yeah, like this morning. So kids are now leaving 30 minutes to an hour after practice earlier to go eat, to go do homework, to study, to get sleep. It's bigger than just baseball. It helps us developmental for baseball, but also it's getting kids home earlier because you don't have to spend that time, raking fields, dragging fields, watering fields. I mean, everything that goes into our field. We take pride in our field, so we spend a lot of time in it. So I think we're going to see a huge help in our kids just other habits.
Yeah.
I talked to one of my good friends is Lee Gann at Mountain Brook, and they've had turf for years, and that's one thing he's told me. We actually practiced there last year during the playoffs to get ready for James Clemens because they had turf, and we got done, and all my players are looking around like, "What do we do?" And I'm like, "I guess we just go home." Because they're used to getting rakes and stuff like that, and working for another 30, 40 minutes. And we went home. Actually, we took them to Dreamland to eat.
How about that? Yeah.
But
can't beat it.
So it is a huge win for our program and our city and our school. All the credit goes to them is making it happen.
So I'm gonna ask a technical question, or what I think is a technical question. Is it different from turfs that they use in the NFL, where so many guys are complaining about ACLs and stuff? I mean, I know it's a different sport and different movements and stuff, but is it kind of the same? Is it different?
It is a little different. I mean, I don't know. I've been in a couple of meetings, and I've heard, hey, football turf and baseball turf are completely different as far as the thread length or with the material underneath it, because the ball, they're trying to get the baseball to bounce like it's natural.
Sure.
So I don't know if they put more sand under it.
Interesting.
It is a different underneath a difference,
Yeah.
and then the actual turf is actually different also.
A little softer overall.
I would think so. And then they even talk about you could put different material in the brown part in the infield versus the grass part in the outfield to make it play like dirt and grass.
Oh, that's kind
so
of cool.
it's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. All the
that
different,
is cool.
a lot of different options that we're going through right now to see how we want to do it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll transition a little bit. You enjoying Freddie Freeman on your Dodgers? I made sure to wear my World Series hoodie.
I do have a 2020 Dodgers World Championship sweatshirt. And we should be in the back of my truck because I got a Dodgers championship sticker.
You didn't think to wear it. So.
But anyway, if we would have won, yes. Like
he did okay though after he got over some of his feelings.
The whole crying, I think Kershaw took care of that.
I really think he did.
But
you with us or not?
Yeah, obviously Freddie Freeman is an unbelievable player.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he's in LA. So
well, maybe after that contract's up, he'll take
back.
like a year contract, retire Brave.
I think the Braves are okay though.
They say I miss Freddie Freeman because I've not grown up watching the Braves, but like he grew up through the Braves, so I miss that. But if you're just talking about strictly on-field play, production, all that, I'm pretty content with Matt Olson.
Yeah, I think you're okay.
And his age and what he's going to project.
I tell you, what we've seen is the Dodgers and Braves having all this success. It's really pushed the Mets and Padres to spend a lot of money.
Still can't hold an NL East lead. So
there you go.
What I know you played at UAB. These guys today, I don't know what it was like in the early '90s with, if you're a pitcher like you're a pitcher, right? Mm-hmm. Did you have a walkout song? Did they have that stuff at all back then?
Our coach played Elton John the whole time, so we had no. I can tell you every Elton John song there.
Okay.
Like BP, infield.
Yeah.
There was no such thing as walk-up songs.
Okay, you didn't come out with a little Rocket Man.
Nah, I tell you what though, Chad Summers, our PA guy, he texted me today. Tell the kids to go ahead and start sending me the walk-up music. I'm like, we don't play for 3 weeks.
Yeah, gotta have it ready.
It is important.
Well, there's a lot of thought that goes into it for these kids now. So my question, I guess, is if you were walking out there with them today, what's gonna play?
Oof.
I know that's on the spot. So
I do have a walk. I have a walk to the plate song.
Okay, what is it?
Like we meet.
Yeah, when y'all
meet out in the outfield, talk about scouting report or whatever, and then I walk to home plate, and we actually have a song that plays when I walk up there. It's off of Equalizer, Denzel Washington movie.
Okay, another movie, yeah.
It's not a good scene. It's when he's taking care of business.
Right.
There's no words. It's just music.
Just music.
Music.
That's what I was gonna say. Is like you get a lot of people wanting Thunderstruck, AC/DC, Hell's Bells, AC/DC, and stuff like that. I'm kind of like, I'm a big fan of the rock country group Whiskey Myers, and I don't know if you've heard them, but like if I was thinking about this earlier, if I had to pick a walk-up song or a walk-out song, there's 2 songs I would pick from, and neither of them I would choose like the lyrics. It's just the guitar riff in it, and it just sounds kind of intimidating, kind of like it might get the crowd energized a little bit. So I don't know.
I don't even know the name of the song that I walk up to.
Yeah.
I just know it's off the Equalizer movie. We played it 2 years ago, and we had a lot of success. We just kept playing it. Last year, knock on wood, we went undefeated at home. So my son keeps texting me, hey, man, I got that song for you. I got this song for you. I said, Ty, we're good. I said, until we start losing some games at home, then we're not changing anything.
Equalizer works.
Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of Ty, he's down at Auburn now. Right?
Yeah, he's loving it. He's part of their team, and they work hard every day. And he loves the coaches, the team, the school. He's having a good time. So
that's awesome. Well, that's really all I got, Coach. Is there anything else you want to chat about?
I just appreciate you doing this. This is fun.
Yeah. That's what I kind of thought it might be fun. Like it's different, and
most interviews is like serious. It's ball. This is. Yeah, kind of taking a load off and
exactly
just talking. So.
That's kind of what I wanted. There will be times maybe where I have to put a city's mayor up here and we talk about budgets and stuff. I don't really want to, but you know,
Mayor Choate played some college baseball.
Mayor Choate could talk baseball. We could
Yeah.
talk White Sox. We could talk a lot of things.
Yeah,
So, but
yeah.
you know, I think it's fun. It's different. It's not just sitting at a desk. You know, it's just chatting. So
Yeah, I appreciate
I appreciate you doing it.
No, thank you very much.
All right, thank y'all for watching.